Hello, Trekkies and Trekkers. Welcome to this amazing Star Trek podcast on Trek Tuesday. I'm your host, Orinda, and together with Amanda Hopper, I recap every 2 weeks an episode of Star Trek TNG. All the episodes will be recapped in chronically following. We will approach each episode with humor and a veteran look. Today we recap the episode The Royale. Well, guys, let's ring Amanda again. Hello, Amanda.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I still got a bit of the cold. I'm good, but I still got a bit of the cold, and like I told you, my more car problems as usual. What else is new? I gotta get 3 wheels out of 4 replaced. Apparently, they're so worn down. One of them was super flat this morning.
Okay.
Cars are expensive.
It is.
Yeah, still got. And I'm finally off of a Twitter lockdown. For some reason, they had me on lockdown. I found out why. It's because somebody over on the Twitter page, whoever's running it, well, we all know who's running it, really, Elon, thought I was a bot.
When you told me that, I was thinking, yeah, that's what you get if Elon Musk is the boss.
Yeah, I think he should just give it up and give it to someone else who knows what they're doing.
Well, I think I don't know, but there's so. I noticed that a lot of people have problems with it, and yeah, it's just super weird. I haven't had. Well, I did have some problems with it, but it was not major like you that you couldn't get into my account or whatever.
Yeah.
So
I couldn't get into my account for 6 days. So I said, frick it, I'm making another page until something happens.
That's much. That's long for 6 days.
I know. And that was over, I don't know how many people I had that were friends with me on that page. Had that page for 10 years. I was getting close to 5,000 people. And boom, that happens. I was like, great, gotta start another page. And I lost everything from that other page, I thought.
Isn't that the maximum amount you can have as followers? 5,000 on Twitter?
Well, no, you can have more than that, I think.
Okay. Well, let's start with the recap. I must say this week's episode was not my favorite of all. But
yeah, it was kind of slow.
It was not only slow, but it was just weird, and I really was thinking, yeah, there are more things that would be better.
Yeah, it was sluggish. It could have been better. It was slow.
So the episode is called The Royale, and immediately I was thinking, oh, that is the casino episode with Data. Well, it was really funny because Data had a lot of human reactions in this episode.
Mm-hmm. I think he had some fun playing with cards.
Oh yeah. I think also. Did you notice the first time he played blackjack, and his face was so funny, and even Michael was very, how can I say this? It was just fun. So, if we start with the beginning, they were getting to the 16th planet of the solar system, and it was unmapped. I believe it called Theta 8, and what was really surprising to me was that it was the Klingons who told them, well, it was weird and we found some debris, and I think you are a science vessel, so get a look into it. And I was thinking, was the Klingon War already over at that period of time? Because I was thinking, is there still not issues with it? I know in the later of the seasons, I think about season 5 or 6, is that, of course, you're gonna get the background stories of Worf, and you see that the Starfleet is more alliance with the Klingons, but it was still a little weird that a Klingon ship would say, okay, we found this weird debris in your science vessel and go investigate it. So that was a little bit weird for me, but okay. So the Enterprise found the debris, and it is a very old spaceship of NASA. And Riker was the one who said, okay, let's investigate this. And because this is, we are a science vessel, so why not? And he went with Data and Worf to the transporter room. And I think this is the first time you see O'Brien really as chief transporter. And I think this is really the first time we see him like that. I don't know how about you to say that, of seeing that.
Yeah, this is one of the many episodes you'll see him as the transporter officer.
So, there was some interference, and it had to happen with a storm that was raging there. They were like beaming down in the eye of the storm, and it was really weird. They had some readings, etc. And then Worf noticed the old casino doors, like an old-fashioned doors that they have.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like old-fashioned ones to just turn around. You gotta be careful with those doors, because if you're not careful, you can hurt yourself with those things.
Didn't Data almost had a little accident with it?
I think so. Because those doors, you gotta be careful.
Oh, not only that, but I mean, like, you know how Data is. Data is very innocent in a lot of human things, and I think it believed that Riker was a little bit more informed of it. Like, okay, guys, this is for them it was the 21st century doors, old antique doors, but if we see it in our time, it's like casino doors, like from the 50s, 60s, you know.
Yeah. Just old-fashioned doors from the 50s.
And it was really weird. It's Riker is reporting in, and it wasn't an easy place that they say, and can be said, okay, go into the structure, but be careful. And so they did. And the weird thing is, in the structure they couldn't have contact with the Enterprise.
Yeah, that was really weird when that happened. As soon as they went in, they lost contact with the Enterprise. Basically like a cell phone signal dropping is what happened.
Yeah, you know, I was thinking, at that moment, didn't TOS have a similar episode like this one?
I don't recall.
So, I thought they did, because in the end, Chekhov entered also, and he had a fling with this lady. That is the first time you see Chekhov as a ladies' man.
I just don't remember. It's been ages since I saw the original series. I really gotta watch that again. Huh.
They were in that structure building, and I believe they couldn't get out, and they don't have communication with the Enterprise, and then Data suggested, well, let's beam up because this is the normal regulation, and they couldn't. And then one of the busboys said, well, go to the reception clerk and you can start there. And when the clerk was helping the away team, the bellboy came in and he was very anxious and he wanted to know if he had a message from Rita. And Rita is like the girl of this gangster Mickey D. And we will see in the episode that it's gonna play off as a romantic novel that this colonel of the NASA have been reading. So the whole scene there was that novel. The clerk told them, okay, this is your rooms, and here you have some casino chips. And when he gave them that, I started to laugh, because we know what's going to happen.
So some gambling is about to go down.
Yeah, Data scanned the area, and he said, well, those people have no life signs, so what the heck is going on? And he said, well, if you take, for example, this sir, the old cowboy, and Data said something in the way of now analyzing him, and the cowboy answered him back, and I don't know if you guys saw that face of Riker. Riker was thinking, oh my god, this is awesome, I really like him.
Yeah.
So,
and then there was a girl beside him too. That she was like, I forget the girl's name.
And I don't know where she is from, but she is so familiar, but I can't remember where she's played in.
Yeah, her character in this episode just seems like she's so timid and everything.
Like a woman with no brain.
Yeah. Who basically lost everything, and he's like, oh, sweetie, I'll help you. I'll give you some money. I'll be your sugar daddy, I guess is what he was trying to say to her.
Yeah, so this is how he reacted on her. Like, okay, I have money enough. I do this for joy, and don't worry, I will take care of you.
Yeah.
So, the cowboy was saying, okay, come here, sit down, boy. I will teach you how to play blackjack. So, Data, the cowboy gave Data his hat, and Data was accessing his program of, okay, what is blackjack? And then he said, okay, it's 21 points, etc., etc. And so Data was playing, and he wins. And right after that, Riker said, well, I want to leave, so let's go. So they went through the doors, but they couldn't get out. They stayed in the casino. And, yeah, it was like they couldn't get out, and they couldn't have contact with the Enterprise. But the Enterprise, meanwhile, they were looking for...
I think they were looking for like an opening in the clouds, stratosphere, I think. And they managed to find one eventually to get a hold of them.
Yeah. And they tried to find another access. And when Worf was firing on this door, he couldn't get through, what really was stupid, but okay. And so they are trapped. And then we see that the bellboy was really anxious to hear from Rita, and he was saying to the clerk, well, I am not afraid of Mickey D. We will see what happened. And
didn't he get himself his own gun too?
No. It was
I thought he had one. I thought.
Yeah, it was they weren't gonna fight it out outside, and the clerk, I think he was also the manager, I don't know, but the clerk said, well, we don't want any trouble here in this hotel/casino. Please fight this out outside. So the that was, by the way, later. I see in my notes now. But that happens. Then Riker wanted to complain that they need an access or whatever. And then I think it was Data who scanned the area and said, well, I scanned one life form, but he is in one of the rooms upstairs. So what did they do? They went to the elevator and they took the elevator to that room, and they found this 200-year-old body of this colonel of NASA. And so they find the flight suit also with NASA on it, and then there was a whole lot of things that is gonna be clear. They find this novel of the Casino Royale, or Hotel Royale, and so Riker gave Data the option of go read that book in speed. So he did that. And then he tells, well, this is a book about this and that character. It's about gambling and Mickey D and this girl Rita and the bellboy is going to die, etc., etc., etc. So then Riker noticed, okay, this is exactly what happened, what we just see. And
they're playing by the book. They're playing like through the book storyline. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then they sent them out investors from wherever. And it turns out they're the investors.
Yeah, but we are going to a little bit too far in the episode yet. So they found the colonel, and the colonel had a diary entry. So Riker read that for also the captain, because Picard was listening to the whole storyline, etc. And so the colonel said, well, I've been kidnapped by aliens and they created this thing for me, and they think our life is like that in from the novel, and I welcome that, etc., etc., etc. Well, when Riker read this to Captain Picard, he asked also some identification of this person, and it seems it was really a colonel from the 21st century, and who was lost in one of the rocket launches, and they never found him back. So they really went far with in that kind of thing. It's still a little bit story from true story in a way, because and that's what guys, that's what I like about Star Trek. Star Trek also refers from NASA and all the space traveling what we are currently do.
Yeah. Some of the stories, I think some of the stories they tell throughout the season too, like some of them kind of like they twist stories around to make them sound like they're true but not true type deal, I guess you could say. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just and like I said, that is what I really like about Star Trek, is that they are the things that are in Star Trek. Some of them already have invented in our time, and that is the thing I really love about Star Trek, even more than Star Wars and the other science fiction. And yeah, that's what I always have. So it's not that I am that interested in technology or in science, but it is more like it's all true as well. Like I said before, guys, like the visor from Geordie, that has already been invented. The communicator from TOS, that is one of the first mobile telephones we have. Etc.
And the communicator pads they had in Star Trek were your first iPad.
Yeah. That's what I really, really love about Star Trek. It's just, it's also so common. Yeah.
I don't know if hypospray is an actual thing yet, but it might be. I don't know.
Not yet, but they are close.
Cool.
So
that'd be cool to have.
Yeah, well, we will see when that will be there and invented.
Yeah, as soon as they get the hypospray invented, you'll hear people complaining less about having to take meds. Actually, the diabetic needles are almost like a hypospray.
Yeah. They are. So the next scene is that the phone rings and Worf picks up and the woman asks, "Will you have room service?" And Data has a little bit of a wrong analysis what room service really is. And of course, we know Worf is answering like Klingons do, really direct and not in that way polite of you know, it is Worf.
Yeah, Klingons not always that polite. They're always gruff.
When they are going down, Riker said, "Well, let's mingle on the people and ask questions." So they were on and exploring in that casino part, and meanwhile, Picard is reading the novel to find maybe a solution to get the away team back. And Data said, "Well, maybe we can go blend into the crowd, cause, you know, it's important. Maybe we can get some answers." And so he was, and that was the weird thing. When they were mingling and asking people questions, all the people were ignoring them. And then we see the scene that Riker was seeing the bellboy asking again on the clerk manager of, "Did you have a word from Rita?" And he's Riker was thinking, "Hey, this is exactly what happened in the novel." And then we see Mickey D comes in, and he was really like what you will see or think of as a mafia boss, you know, like a gangster.
The suit. I think he had a cane with him, if I'm correct. He had a cane. And then he had this big, long trench coat over his shoulders, I guess.
And the shiny shoes.
Oh, yeah, the shiny shoes. You cannot forget the shiny shoes. And a gun hiding on him.
You know, it reminds me a little bit of... you remember that TOS episodes with that Spock and Kirk went down to Earth in the 50s and the 60s, that they were gangsters?
I vaguely remember that one, yeah. Dressed up in nice suits and everything. And Spock's ears had to be hidden underneath his hat.
Like always.
Yeah. Pointy, green-eared Vulcan.
There was a altercation there, and Mickey D and the bellboy said, "Okay, let's settle this outside." And Worf wants to come between them, but Riker stops him and said, "This is how it be in the novel as well, so you can't intervene." And before the bellboy is stepping out, Mickey D is shooting him in the back. Well, it was cowardly, but gangsters do that. And next scene was that Mickey D is stepping over the bellboy's body, and he said, well, you have to listen to me, this and that, like gangster talk, you know? And so Picard said, well, I mean, like, Riker asked Picard, how did the novel end? And Picard tells him, well, foreigners are investing in the hotel, and they are nice with the money, and then Riker said, that's our way out. So Data went to play in a casino again with the cowboy, and this time he was rolling dice, and he noticed that the dice were not equal. So immediately Reich said, can you correct that? And Data said, yeah, I can. And guys, did you see Data's face before he rolled the dice for the first time? That smirk on his face, I was thinking, oh God, really, Data? And
he's like, yeah.
You know, and that is the thing with Data. Data has sometimes more human reactions than another synth or android. For example, Lore, or if you're gonna say Shoji. And that is and that is the funny thing. Data always wants to be more human, and how he reacts is like, it's the same thing as a human would do. He has more human reactions than an other android.
I know. Like he's getting ready to roll, and he just has the die in his hands. He just has this little smirkish little grin on his face. He's like, yeah, let's play.
And I think that makes Data very loved under the fans. Data will start playing, winning. And, Data makes a funny remark before he threw the dice. And that was really, really funny. I mean, how could an android say something like that? I can't remember exactly what he remarks, but it was something in the line.
Daddy needs a new pair of shoes or something like that?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Daddy needs a new pair of shoes.
That was so funny in it, because, Data is an android, and he could never understand that. But the weird thing, he comes with remarks that I'm thinking only humans will say that, and without knowing, he's saying them, not only in this episode, but also in other episodes. So Data wins every time, and then they have enough, and Riker said, okay, get all the chips in, and again Data wins, and the manager said, well, you just emptied the bank, and I don't know how we can pay you. So Riker said, well, take this amount of the thing, so we can buy the hotel, and the rest you can spread among the people here. And so they spread the money, etc., and then they went to the door and could exit the hotel. And they beam up, and after that, Riker brings report out to Picard and said, well, it was quite an experience, especially with Data around. And I think he really enjoyed this away mission, because it was different. But they also figured out what happened to that colonel.
Mm. Turns out he was been dead for over 200 years. And he
And
was stuck in the story.
the only thing what I didn't like in a way in this episode is that it was I could understand the storyline, but I think they could have done so much more.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, they could have done so much more with the episode. Like, why didn't they show you Rita? They should have shown you who Rita was.
Yeah, or a little bit more like the storyline in the novel, you know, like. And in one way I can understand because this is television. I need to keep a certain pace.
Yeah, you gotta keep it at a short, sweet pace, basically. You can't just show everything, but still.
But it is like, I had the feeling that they could have done something more because, like I said, the first half of the episode was very slow. And then they started to get the pace in it, and then it was like, in one boom, it was finished, you know?
Yeah. It's like boom, 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 done. It's like slow at the beginning and picked up pace and then boom, it was done. It was like a very short episode. That's what it seemed like to me.
Well, guys, we are at the end of this episode. Amanda, is there something you'd like to add?
Not much of what I said, but like I said, it started off slow and picked up pace, and then boom, I found the episode to be a bit slow at the beginning, and got a little faster. Like picked up a bit, and they could have done more with the story.
They could, yeah. I don't know what the writers were thinking about that because it is also a story of that NASA colonel, and in one way I would have seen more of that, you know, like maybe they could show real images of a project like that, for example Apollo 7, and they integrate that in the episode, you know, to show what kind of project that colonel was of. And you know, I think they could have done better with that. Guys, if I'm going to take a look at the rating on IMDb, I'm not surprised. It's a 6.6.
Ooh, that is low.
And, well, my rating is a little bit lower. I will give it a 6. Because, they could have done more than that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm going to say a 6 too, because I agree with you. They could have done a lot more with the episode instead of just this short little story of the motel and buying it off and this Mickey D character. They could have done a lot more with it.
I think it's more like they had this idea and they put it all in one episode, and that's why it has become what it has become. And and what you say, they could have done more with it.
Yeah, it's true. They could have done more with it.
Because if you see, for example, episodes in of Deep Space Nine, that is very much better written than, for example, in TNG. Of course,
they got a lot of good episodes.
You have TNG has a lot of good episodes, but there are also episodes that are not good written.
Yeah, sometimes it all depends on who write the episodes too, because there's different writers for every episode.
And you know, in one way, it was very hard to write for Gene Roddenberry, because in some of the documentaries they say, well, this and this and this is what my version was, and Gene Roddenberry completely rewrote it. And yeah, he was a genius. Roddenberry was a genius, but he was a very difficult man to work together.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, he really was. And I can imagine that, and that is, I think, that's why some of the episodes are very like this. Like in one way it's good written, but the execution maybe is not good. It's just, and that is what Chip Tranier, Conor Tranier and Dominic Keating also said in their podcast. Sometimes you get a text the night before, but the next day when you want to do the scene, they completely changed it. So
yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that happen before. Maybe one scene, then they show up the next day. Oh no, the scene's changed. We're doing something different now.
Yeah, and that is just.
It's like, what?
Oh,
that would drive me crazy.
Yeah, that must not be easy for them.
No. I'd be like, okay, what am I reading for tomorrow? Oh, okay, I'm doing this. Okay. And then the next day, oh, by the way, it changed. You're doing this instead today. Oh, jeez. Oh, that would be weird.
It is. That must not be easy for them.
No.
And I think that is what they had in TNG as well, because Roddenberry was the one who changed all the text, etc. And yeah, I don't think that is easy. Also for the writers, because they had something good, and he completely changed it.
Yeah. Like the writers would have a good scene, and whoever was looking at it be popping in and be like, oh, I don't like this. I'm going to switch this up a little. And that would screw up the story.
It is. It is. And yeah, it's very I think that's very difficult also, not only for the writers. And I remember because I don't know if you guys know it from me, but I have started writing for a long time ago, and I did courses for it, etc. And I remember when I did my first Star Trek column for this Star Trek website, but I don't work anymore for. I remember when the editor was editing my text for the first time, I really hated it because somebody was changing my text, what I was writing, and so I can really rely to the writers when Gene Roddenberry would change their text.
Oh.
And
yeah, that would drive me crazy.
It is. But yeah, like I said in the beginning of this episode, guys, this wasn't my favorite episode in whole TNG. Yeah, it was nice to watch, but it's not an episode that I will recommend somebody to watch, or when you say, okay, if you want to say recommend something out of TNG, which episode will be? It will not be this episode.
No. Definitely not this one. I think guys, so far, out of all the episodes we've done so far, I think this one's got the lowest ratings out of all the ones we've done.
Yeah. I agree to that, and I think also it's a pity, guys, that you not reacting on or calling off to talk with us about the episode, because I would like to ask with you of it would be nice if you guys rate every episode that we are recapping, not what we are saying as a recap, but more like watch the episode together with us and give your opinion and rate it like with us, it would be nice if you can see on the Facebook group or on the YouTube channel what you guys rate this episode.
Yeah, we want to know what your guys' opinions are, not just ours. Spill it.
And and that would be, then it will be more interactive, and I would like that to happen. That it would be more interactive, for what your comments are and what your ratings are for episodes, and like I said, I don't mean it how we do the episode or we were capping the episode, but I mean the
What you guys think of this episode of the show?
Yeah. And talking about the next episode, let me check so you guys can see. The next time we recap Time Secret.
What's it called?
Time Squared.
Time Squared.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, if you like to join us, do that. Oh, wait a minute. I think, let me check. Yeah. After this one, we still have 2 episodes, and then we have a video recording. So you guys can watch us. That's gonna be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Well, guys, once again, thank you for listening to us, and please, like I said, talk with us about the episode and rate this episode. And, well, we see you next time. Live long and prosper.
See you guys next time. Live long and prosper.
Dear listeners, thank you for listening, and join us in 2 weeks for a new episode recap. In the next episode, we will recap the episode Time Squared. I also like to tell you about my other podcast called Orinda Talks. Orinda Talks is a podcast wherein I talk about books, movies, fandoms, and other geek things. You can find Orinda Talks on the YouTube channel or the Facebook group. We will see you in 2 weeks.